with an opening statement from coach and then turn it over to questions for our student athletes. We'll dismiss the student athletes and then turn it over to questions for coach. If you're joining us via Zoom, please use the raise your hand function if you have a question, and please state your name and media affiliation. Coach, you can go ahead with your opening statement.
Yeah, it's a tough one for us. I thought we had a good plan. I thought Shaylee did a great job pitching 4 innings. Kennedy came in and pitched well. Obviously got herself in some trouble with some hit batters that ended up, base hit scores. But, it's time to get ready for regionals now. And so, my message to them before that last inning, and I talked to them before the game, was we're not out of this until the last out. So obviously very happy with that last inning. I think we could have done a better job of having that type of energy and approach and focus earlier on in the game. But
now questions for our student athletes. Justin, you can go ahead.
What was that like for you guys, for your team? What did you do during that rain delay? Walk me through just that long time period, if you would.
We kind of waited here for a while to kind of play it by ear to get kind of what was the next move. Then we ended up on the bus, but basically being able to keep our minds in the right place and not going everywhere else, knowing that we're going to have to come back and finish this game.
I think we just have to revamp ourselves up. We were getting off the bus and stuff, and we were getting going, having music going during BP and stuff, but you just had to have the motivation that we did at the beginning of the game.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, what's that like, after you're all juiced up for a game and then you're in the 8th inning, it's a really close game, and then to have to take that long break away?
When the rain did happen, it was kind of a momentum bust for them and stuff because they just got that big hit. And I don't know, I guess rain does something for us, and we brought the energy that last inning, which is good, but at the same time, we should have been bringing it the whole game.
Right.
we've had a lot of practice on rain delays this year.
Tennessee, we
Yeah.
That you guys had in that last inning, was that something that, like, as the game was getting ready to start, you in I guess your huddle in the dugout, whatever, you were very deliberate about making sure you had? Was it just something that comes natural to the group that you have?
I feel like stepping off the bus, we knew we had to bring something to the field. Like we couldn't just walk on and expect to win the game. So coming off the bus, knowing that we had to bring it.
Yeah, especially after a long break, you have to bring it more than you did at the beginning of the game. But again, it just needs to be there from the get-go.
For this being just the beginning of postseason for y'all, what are you hoping you can kind of learn from this experience?
Putting us in the atmosphere, being one and done, I feel like that's kind of eye-opening for a lot of the newcomers. And everyone that's been through it, it's fun to be a part of, but being able to know what it's all about is going to help us, I think, in these upcoming weeks.
Yeah, like Shaylee said, it's kind of shows the newcomers what it's like to be in postseason. And I think when our pitchers throw the way they did tonight, our hitters just have to step up because we're going to see a lot more pitchers like that.
Any more questions for our student athletes? All right, you two may be dismissed.
That rain delay happened. It had been such a pitcher's duel back and forth, and South Carolina had just gotten that momentum, and you crushed their momentum, but at the same time, it could have crushed anything you could have. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Tell me about that aspect of the momentum swing, both directions, maybe with that rain delay.
Yeah, I think this game is a game of momentum. I think athletics as a whole is a game of momentum. And I felt like the game, really nobody had momentum. Like nobody would take it this whole game. And then, South Carolina came out and got the hit that shifted it their way. I honestly feel like the rain delay worked in our favor and kind of put things, it was kind of a reset button for us. And like I said jokingly earlier, we have had a lot of practice with some rain delays this year. So, I think for me, it's just, we didn't go back to the hotel. I kind of keep them on the bus. I keep them focused. I keep them away from distractions. And that's just kind of, my philosophy. So I thought they did a great job. Honestly, we came back, got us out of that inning, made some big pitches when she needed to. And, we gave gave ourselves a chance. I still feel like what you saw that last inning, we didn't bring earlier on in the game. And that's really the difference between a win and a loss.
You just talk about your pitchers and what you thought about their days?
Yeah, I thought Shaylee, I actually just said to her walking up, I said, I'm pretty excited to watch film because I felt like her ball had some good movement on it tonight. And I thought she had good command. We made a couple of adjustments with her this week in bullpens that I think really helped her from her load and her push off the mound. So I said, hey, we're going to need that in postseason. I mean, we're really fortunate that we have 5 dynamic arms that we're going to be able to use throughout postseason. So I thought she did a great job. I thought she used both sides of the plate. Her up ball was moving and her down ball. And, you know, South Carolina has seen all of us, like we've seen them and they've seen us. And so I think for me, and I'm always going to talk pitching because that's where my heart is, you know, I think it says a lot about both pitching staffs that we were able to kind of be in a pitcher's duel, and we're on game 4 of you know, this year. So, and then a lefty came in. I thought she did a great job of complimenting Shea, pounded the zone, used her velo. Obviously, got herself in some trouble with the hit batters. But you know, here's the thing. She made those big pitches when she needed to. I mean, the ball that they hit was obviously, you know, but it was a CNI ground ball, you know, and they were able to execute when we weren't able to.
Question I asked them, just what are you hoping from a coach's perspective your team takes from this type of environment?
I mean, as much as I hate it, I'd rather us have this feeling right now than have this feeling in a week or two, you know? And I said, listen, you gotta figure this out. Like, it's win or go home time. Like there's no second chance. There's no game 2. There's no game 3. And so I think for me, what I'm really excited, this is my first postseason tournament, conference tournament. The PAC just started it, you know, this year. And so I think ESPN, the SEC does a tremendous job of just the coverage, the setup of everything. I mean, it pretty much looks like the World Series here, and it's everybody's practice run. And so, I mean, there's very few conferences where I feel like you get this type of environment and feel right before you go and play in, you know, postseason.
We'll take a question from Zoom. Eric Lopez, you may unmute yourself.
Coach, good to talk to you. 2-part question. Number one, your vantage point from the dugout in the 8th inning. Did you think that ball was gone that Gonzalez robbed there, that homer? And number 2, you mentioned you wish you brought that energy, intensity in that 8th inning you did earlier in the game. Did you sense any nerves from your group prior to the game? Do you think the length of the LSU Ole Miss game affected your group at all?
Okay, so I'll start with your first question. You talking about Ryland's ball in the 9th? I just want to make sure that we're referring.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, you know, I felt she was a little early, and I was hoping the ball was going to carry. Last time we were here in Arkansas, there had a little wind. I was hoping I was blowing it, but I mean, I thought that was I mean, we had some good balls. We hit hard, just right at somebody. The left fielder made a tremendous play. You know, it's sometimes, you know, that's the way this game goes. Your second part about that energy. You know, to be honest with you, we've just had some games where we're like this. I feel like if you watch, you know, cover us, you know, throughout the year, which I know you do, we've had some ups and downs. And I think it comes from our youth. It comes with transition and just, you know, continuing to raise our standard. I don't think it had anything to do with the length of the LSU game. I just feel like we have to decide that we're going to come out and, you know, be ready to go.
One big similarity and one big difference
between Pac-10 or Pac-12 and
Pac-10.
SEC?
Yeah. One big similarity, I think you just have tremendous athletes on the field that I think are it's fun to watch, you know, really good athletes play ball and compete at a very, very high level. I'll never lose sight of that and enjoy that. I mean, this is it really when you think about college softball. Obviously we have a pro league and we have the Olympics, but I feel like, you know, college softball is really where you see a lot of elite athletes and they're practicing every single day, you know, towards one goal. So I think it's a very special place. One big difference, you know, I think there's quite a few differences. I think one of them would be just the coverage. I feel like the SEC does a really, really good job from a media standpoint for talking about our sport, exposing our sport. Just, I feel like it's always on TV. And I feel like when you talk about growing the game, you have to be able to let 8-year-olds be able to watch the game. And I think they do a great job of putting a really good product. Every school, I mean, basically every school you can plug in and, and they can do a full broadcast. And I think that's a huge difference between the two. I won't go into the others, but yes.
Thank you.
Okay. Thanks, you guys.